if you want an example of a seat of your pants type of business, then this is it. Because Red Hot Curry started as an idea in year 2000, and basically it came out not to be a media business, but it's a group of friends and I were sitting around a table and we were talking. These are female friends, and about my age. And we were talking, and we had a kind of bend it like Beckham moment where we found out that none of us could actually cook aloo gobi ourselves, except one, and she was a professional caterer. And so she said to me, well, you know, I could give you some recipes, and you've got internet, you know, you've got IT experience. Why don't you put that on a website, and then hopefully we'll get some other women to give us their recipes, and we'll have some sort of discussion group about recipes and about how to cook curry at home. So the idea was about cooking recipes, which is why it's called redhotcurry.com. And about the same time, my husband plays cricket, amateur cricket, and he said to me, well, you know, my league, they really need a website and they need a mechanism for delivering their results every week, and they're really desperate, and can you just sort of do a little sort of website for them? So on the one hand, I had this curry board, discussion board, and on the other side, I had this cricket website. And so I was juggling these two, and I thought, well, let me just put it all under one umbrella. And so I stuck with the Red Hot Curry name, and I'm very glad that I did. And that's really how it started. So it wasn't meant to be a media business. In fact, it wasn't a business at all. I was working on it on a Saturday and a Sunday evening, and then suddenly I was working on it Saturday, Sunday, Monday to do the results, and then Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and now I work Monday to Friday and then Saturday and Sunday. That's the thing about the internet. It is almost like a disease or a drug, if you like. You just cannot get enough of it, particularly if you're producing things you know, that other people actually want to read. So the whole idea kind of came together with two little independent aspects put together under an umbrella, and really launched it in November 2001. And within the first week, I would say, all the feedback that I got was incredible, incredibly positive. But the thing that came out of it was saying, well, actually, we don't want you just to preserve the cooking skills. What we want you to do is we want you to preserve the entire Asian cultural identity. And that might sound quite shocking, but I was amazed that there was other people like myself, very much in the British Asian sector, who wanted to be involved with the Asian culture. They wanted it to be presented to them in small, palatable morsels that they could, you know, eat, I guess, at their own convenience. So really, that's how it came about, and very quickly, the entertainment side grew, and that's very much the type of thing William was talking about: the galleries, the museums, the films, the theatre, the books. The Asian community is incredibly creative and incredibly prolific, and I'm very glad for that, because it helps us retain our cultural identity. The other channels sort of came on very quickly after that: news and business, travel, all the things that you would now expect from a lifestyle portal. And for those of you who like some figures, I'll give you an idea. I still run and manage the business, as I said, from Monday to Sunday, every day of the week. But to give you some figures, for example, there are now, we launched a restaurant guide, and there's 5,800 curry houses in that. There are 10,000 web pages. There are 50,000 images on the site. There are 2,000 stock items that we sell in the shop. And I get about 200 or 300 emails a day about things going on which are of interest to the Asian community. So it's a very vibrant sector of the market. I'm afraid we haven't done as much research into the market as we would have liked to, but just to give you an idea, we do have a registration process, and an analysis of that has shown that our reader is largely Asian. They're actually 35 plus, they're all professionals, A, B, ones, I guess you would say, and that is fairly representative of the type of sector that it's targeted at. And interestingly enough, it's still split exactly 50-50 between men and women. And I think that's because I try and stick to the cricket and the curry, and hopefully it kind of comes together. What is interesting about it since it started, for me, is that I now get a lot of people wanting me to expand it to beyond its borders. I mean, it was meant to be a British Asian portal, but they want it in America, they want it in Australia, they want it in South Africa, they want it in Europe, and in fact the Indians want it in India, because we're sort of a bit of an oddity to them, and they feel they can learn about British Asian culture from this website. So the pressure on me is really how to address and deal with the demands of the Asian diaspora, which is really what people want. In terms of development of the site, it's been, I would say, fairly sporadic. Every time I feel sort of a new channel coming on, that's how I do it. And it is a business run very much by the seat of your pants. So at the end of 2003, I launched a shop, an e-commerce shop. It is a very good revenue tool, and I hadn't anticipated it would be, because all it stocks is things like little spice boxes and DVDs, Bollywood DVDs, and it's become enormous business in its own right, and now that takes up about 50% of my time. So one of the challenges for me for the future is what to do with the shop on one side and the media business on the other side, and I think that's fairly unique of the internet, that it gives you the options of doing lots of different things and making lots of mistakes in lots of different things as well. Earlier this year, I launched the Red Hot Business Directory, because businesses said, well, actually, we want to deal with other businesses, and we want a means of just sort of, being found by users and finding each other. And that's been equally successful. Next year, I'm planning to launch yet another channel. I have to separate out the input required into the shop from the input required into the media channel. And really, I have to think about it in an economic way, because just to talk about money for a minute, because it started out as just an idea or a hobby, I didn't have a business plan. I wrote a business plan about a year after it started, and I have to say it's the greatest work of fiction I've ever worked on. I did take it round to find funding, and needless to say, nobody wanted to fund this mad Asian woman with an idea for a curry website, and I don't blame them. But what is interesting about that business plan is I look back on it now and see how many targets I've actually achieved. And what pleases me is that some of the people who didn't want to invest in that business at that time are the very same people who ring me now and saying, well, when you want to do second round funding, please come to us. And quite frankly, in terms of second round funding, I wouldn't know what to do with the money, and where to spend it in the right way. So at the moment, that's not something I'm investigating. But the economic of the business always came after the business idea. And my struggle is trying to make the business model and the media model kind of gel together and work, whilst at the same time sort of managing all these, this sort of monster that I've created. In terms of tips, what have I learned from it? Well, I learn something new every day. Every day there's something new that I learn, and I think that's, again, one of the beauties of the internet business. The other thing I've learned is that it's not about the technology, it's about the passion. For the South Asian community, for us it's about identity, it's about having a voice, it's about having specifics of our culture explained to us, it's about the exploration in depth of some of the positive and the negative aspects of our own culture. It's about people, giving space to people and their skills and their achievements. And it's about the positive things about the South Asian community. And the other thing I've learned is I get a real buzz out of it. Every day I sort of leap out of bed wanting to get to work, which is good because the computer's right next to my bed. And I can spend most of the day in my nightie with a huge cups of coffee doing, feeding this enormous machine. I think I will stop there. I'm sure you have lots of questions and I'll be very happy to take them. Thank you very much.